I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have an art journal process video for you. I'm planning on doing a double page spread, but I'm wanting to kind of have the focus be this middle section. So I'm not sure how much is going to be on the edges, but we'll kind of see what happens. I have a few things pulled out, a stencil, I've got some texture paste around here somewhere, a few colors that I'm kind of planning on going with, and the Dina Wakley Media Collage Collective, which is just full of some gorgeous inspiration. So I'm excited to get going. I will link everything that I end up using down below. Otherwise, let's go. I absolutely love the direction that this art journal entry took. I definitely felt just a little bit whimsical. Like I did not have a plan. I just started putting paint to paper, or denim in this case, and I am loving the results. So this is just a light purple, and like I said, I kind of wanted it to just be focused in the center of the page. It doesn't mean that everything will end up in the center of the page, but that's where the energy kind of comes from on this particular journal entry. So I'm starting out with this purple, making it pretty solid, and then as I add other colors, I'm really going to work to kind of feather them out and create a little texture with the brush, not making quite as solid of lines with the additional colors. I am super excited that this art journal is almost complete. I've almost filled up every spread of the art journal, and it's kind of been a long time in the making, nearly 2 years. It would be 2 years in January, and I will finish it before January. I'm hoping to finish it this month and be able to film a full flip through, but there's something about finishing a journal that just feels like a huge accomplishment, and so it's always fun to finish. And then I'm super excited about the possibility of starting a new one. So the Dina Wakley journal, which is the one I have right here with the denim and the burlap, was a unique challenge because I definitely wasn't used to working in all of the different mediums that were included on this book, and I enjoyed it. I definitely grew and I learned a lot. I am a little bit anxious to get back to some simple white pages. So I haven't totally decided what art journal I want to buy next, but I'm looking forward to kind of shopping around and finding one that really excites me. Okay, as you can see, I'm coming in with this dark blue and trying to use it to soften some of the edges of these slightly harsh lines of the purple. It kind of looks like, I don't know, like a monster or maybe a plant growing sideways. I'm not sure what it looks like, but I wanted to soften it just a bit, which is why I'm bringing in the blue. And then I go for this really light pink, this kind of mauve color, just to add a little bit of highlight, a little bit of light to it, hopefully adding some dimension. And you can see I'm just being real light with it. And I actually really liked when the pink kind of mixed in with the blue and would have streaks of blue in it. I just thought that that was a pretty cool look. So at this point, I'm loving the page. It may look like a hot mess to you, but it was totally like grabbing my attention, and I was super excited about how it was going. But I did want to pull in some of the Collage Collective paper. I love the drawings that Dina Wakley does, and I think they are gorgeous. And so I wanted to bring in one of those. So I found a picture of a girl right there. And I think she's winking. I'm not totally sure what she's doing. One eye looks like it's closed, so perhaps she's winking. And I'm going to use that picture, but first adding a little bit of interest and texture. So I'm using white texture paste. It's opaque, and I'm just using my finger because I find that very easily, and kind of running it through the stencil over several parts of the design. And I had this idea in my head of layering texture paste, meaning using different stencils and putting the paste through it in different ways that overlapped, because I kind of thought that that would end up being a pretty cool idea, and I love it. First of all, this definitely softens some of the edges on my centerpiece here on my, I don't know what I'm calling it. To me, what it ends up looking like, it's kind of representing inspiration. So you'll see what I mean as we kind of go forward, but it's softening up the edges a little bit. It's brightening up the entire piece just because it's bringing in white. Some of this that I'm putting down right now will end up getting covered up, and I kind of realize that as I'm working up here at the top, which is why I take this and I decide it's probably, while that dries, it's probably time to go ahead and cut out the girl that I had picked out and then go ahead and adhere her down. See, she's going to go over to the right side. So I'll trim her out, and then I'm going to use Fabri-Tac glue to secure her down onto the spread. And sometimes it can be tricky deciding where to cut on these particular pieces just because they are so abstract and sketchy, and you're definitely having to choose to cut out some lines. So my advice, if you have this piece, just do your best. Just pick one and go with it, and you'll be able to incorporate it into the piece that you're putting together. So there's my girl, looking a little wonky, but I like her. She looks like she has her head tilted a little bit, and what I'm envisioning is that all of this purple is an idea that is coming to her. And so that's why I called this particular art journal entry Inspiration Strikes, because I feel like the idea is just coming at her. Which I think is pretty exciting. So securing her on the page, I didn't want all of it on the page, so I am cutting off this little bit over here. And now I'm ready to begin incorporating her a little bit more. If you're using collage pieces, be careful that you're just not laying them on the top and leaving them there. You want to kind of work to incorporate those pieces a bit more into your artwork, which is what I'm going to do now. So I'm bringing in some of the paint, first of all, over the top, kind of continuing the same strokes that I was doing before, as if the inspiration is just taking her over. So bringing in the dark blue and using that also as a shadow, and just bringing the paint over onto my girl. And then once I'm happy with where the paint is and how that's all going, I will start to bring in the texture paste, and I feel like that is when she really becomes part of this whole journal entry. For my second round of texture paste, I'm choosing a different stencil. All the stencils I'm using are Tim Holtz stencils. I love his stencils, and I love that now the white texture paste is picking up some of the wet paint, and it's not picking it up to where it's a solid color. It's picking it up to where it's like bringing in wisps of the blue, and I find that super intriguing. So actually I'm going to pick a third stencil and bring in some more texture, and I kind of dig the texture upon texture upon texture. It just ends up being super cool. The slight color variations are also very intriguing. I'm actually going to bring this over onto her face, which was pretty. It ended up, you guys, I can't describe how much I loved this particular art journal piece. I purposely brought in some purple here. It ended up a little smeary, but that is okay. This is a messy looking page, and I am loving it. Okay, there's a lot of messy, and I want to bring some more attention back to the middle. So I'm mixing in some of that dusty rose colored paint with texture paste to bring in yet another stencil, but this time I'm going to use this ruler stencil, and it's going to live in the middle here. And I'm using my spatula instead of my finger because I want a more even coat, and I'm going to bring this ruler across the whole page until it reaches the girl. And this gives me the linear kind of base where all of the inspiration is coming off of, and I think it gives direction to the whole piece, and I absolutely adore it. So adding that in here, the numbers don't match up perfectly, and that's okay, but you do get the impression that it is a ruler, and it's going straight toward her head, as if it's just, like I said, an idea just coming at her, inspiration coming in. I wanted to bring in a little bit more of that pink, and so I grabbed another stencil. So I think this is 5 stencils total that I'm using in this particular art journal entry. And I just wanted to cover up some of these edges, bring it in a little bit, and so I'm adding some of this pink, and I actually think that it makes you look at the pink in the middle a little bit more because the edges are softened up and they're less distracting. So adding it through this floral stencil, I'll do it on all four corners, and then I actually think that this journal entry is pretty much done. I know that this is a messy, kind of over the top art journal entry, but I really, really enjoyed making it. The texture paste was super fun to play with, and I love how it came out. I love the messiness. I love all the texture and all of the different shapes and patterns. I find them really interesting and intriguing. And in the end, when you are art journaling, it's not about anyone else, but it's about kind of tapping into your own creativity. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I have linked supplies down below, so feel free to check those out. Some of them are affiliate links. It does not cost you any more, but it does go a long way to supporting this channel. And a huge shout out to my Scrappy YouTube members. Thank you so much for all of your support. I really, really appreciate it. If you are interested in finding out more about Scrappy YouTube membership, then make sure to click the join button or check the link in the description box below. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.